Hello, 7th grade artists. I am Miss Smith and welcome to art class. Our first project is about perspective. Perspective is what you see with your eyes. So obviously things look smaller when they're farther away. So distance affects the way things look. Our first project is going to have these boxes or cubes that look like they're going back into space. So it'll create a 3D effect. It's going to be really cool, and there'll be tons of room for creativity so you can put your personal touch on things. The materials that you will need are paper of any size, any kind. Mine's 12 by 18, but you are welcome to use computer paper, notebook paper, or whatever you have at home. You'll also need a pencil to draw with. A ruler would also be helpful because you'll need a straight edge. Now, if you don't have a ruler, you could use another piece of paper. You could use a book or folder or anything to create a straight edge. And then later on, we'll be adding color, and you can use crayons, markers, color pencils, paint, whatevs. Totally up to you. Sky is the limit. All right, let's get started. We need to find our horizon line. That is where the sky meets the ground. My kindergarten students, they'll have like a strip of blue sky at the top and then grass at the bottom and then nothing in between. I'm like, no, they touch. There is no nothing. It's either sky or ground. So that's the horizon line, is where the sky meets the water or the ground. I'd like this to be in the middle of the paper, and please orient your paper horizontally. So one really easy way to find the middle of something is just to fold it in half. You could certainly measure this either way, but I do believe in working smarter, not always harder. All right, so now I have a middle line here, and I think I'm just going to trace this with a pencil. Just, I don't want it to be super dark, but I need to be able to see it. All right, horizon line, boom. Next, I need a vanishing point. So this is where all the sight lines meet in the middle. You can fold it this way to find the middle this way. That's pretty easy. So we made a horizontal fold and a vertical fold, and all you need is a little dot in the middle, and that is my vanishing point. Oh, feel free to pause, rewind, anything if this goes too fast, or you can even speed it up if I'm going too slow. Okay, so the next part I will be speeding up, time lapse, because everybody loves time lapse. It's very satisfying to watch. So after you do your vanishing point here, you're going to put squares or rectangles around the perimeter of the paper. I recommend leaving a good amount of space in between these so that you have plenty of space for your lines later. You may want to start with the four corners, like square, rectangle, or something, and then I'd recommend maybe just doing like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then maybe 4 across the top. That would probably fit pretty well. All right, so time lapse coming at ya, full speed ahead. Just drew my squares and rectangles around the perimeter here, but I forgot to mention that you can freehand those shapes, or you're welcome to use a ruler for more precision. But the next part, you'll definitely need a straight edge or a ruler, and we're going to connect each point of each rectangle and square that will go to the vanishing point. So I need to line up my ruler with a corner of that rectangle, and then I'm going to pull this up and make sure that corner here connects to the vanishing point. So I'm just using this as a straight edge, holding it with one hand, and then connecting it here. Perfect. All right, corner number 2. There, connect, keep it to there. I double check that both are still on there, and connect. All right. One more corner here, and that's going to go there. Make sure, double check. All right. I overshot it a little bit. I'm going to erase that. The fourth corner is here. Now, you don't see that part since it's not a see-through shape, so you do not have to do anything with that last corner there. All right. Quadrilateral number 2. Corner to vanishing point. Zoop. And corner here. There. And one last one. Barely even see it. Okay. So the idea is for these to look like they're disappearing off into space, like they're trailing off, and it makes a really neat 3D effect. So in order not to bore you all to death, I'm going to time lapse this next part so that it goes pretty quickly, but of course you can always pause it, rewind it, all that cool stuff. Good luck. You may have noticed that I moved this box over. What happened was it was close to this box and it ended up getting in the way of that sight line. So I just wanted it to be more spaced out, but there you go. Even art teachers make mistakes. Next part is totally up to you. You do not have to do this. I will be outlining in Sharpie because I love Sharpie markers. So feel free to do this part or skip it. There's lots of freedom in art. I'll be using a fat marker for the boxes probably, and then thinner ones for the sides here. All right, time lapse starting now. Don't you just love the smell of Sharpies? I have always loved Sharpies. I remember when I was in middle school like y'all, this was in the 90s, I had one pair of black shoes because we didn't have much money growing up, and my shoes kept getting scuffed up. So I would use that black Sharpie to fill in the spots where it lost its coloring, and then I felt like I had new shoes. So shout out to Sharpies. I'm gonna erase some of the pencil lines that are showing that I don't need anymore. Really, it's probably just gonna be that horizon line that we did in the middle. A couple of times I went off here. I forgot to mention that you're welcome to use the ruler if you are outlining in Sharpie. That certainly might give you more control. Or if you're really confident, you could just skip the pencil and use Sharpie from the get-go, but I don't think I would recommend that unless you have lots of extra paper and no fear. All right, next is color, my personal favorite part. Or really, I guess you could have a black and white background, but I'm gonna go with color absolutely. So before I worry about shading these boxes and the parts that come at an angle, it's going to help me to put color in the background because it'll show me which is positive and which is negative space. So I'll be using crayons. You could use markers, watercolor, colored pencils, whatever. I'll do this on time lapse, and I'm also including a video that shows my brainstorming process. I use my iPad, my Apple Pencil, and the app Procreate. And it's a way for me to plan out my designs before actually committing to the page. So you can do that digitally like I do, or you could certainly do like little practice sketches to see what kind of plan you want for your background. Another cool way to approach a background is to actually hold up colors and see maybe what colors might look good. Like I think I'm gonna put fiery colors. Actually, I'm probably gonna put all the colors because I love all the colors. All right, time-lapse video starting now. Man, that was a lot of color. My arm is hurting. You have to push down pretty hard with crayons. Use your muscles. So I feel like a solid, colorful background really helps you out in a lot of ways. I think the trickiest part for me was just trying to figure out what was inside the box and what was outside the box. And I don't know if you can see here, but I did make a mistake. Yeah. Oh well. I tried to scrape it off with crayons, but you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to get too frustrated. I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to end up coloring that gray anyway, so no big deal. All right, shading for these boxes. You want to think of a light source. So where would the light be coming from? Usually light comes from above because of the sun or lights hanging in your room. So as I shade these boxes, I'm going to do the lower portion in a darker gray and the sides in maybe more of a medium gray. There's several ways you could achieve this. You could choose gray marker. The only problem is I don't have two grays, so I don't have a dark and light gray, but I could use marker, crayons, pencil. I'm probably going to use a combination of the two, and I may end up actually drawing on top with Sharpie. We'll see how it goes. I planned this out on my iPad, but you just never know when it's going on. And again, feel free to pause this, take breaks, get creative. It does not need to look exactly like mine at all. I'll probably do a little bit of time lapse so that, you know, it's just not taking forever. Shading made a huge difference. I feel like it looks much more 3D now. Do you know what 3D means? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Yeah, three-dimensional. So what are the three dimensions? Height, how tall, width, how wide, and deep, so the depth of something. Now obviously this is a two-dimensional surface. Paper is flat, but you can do optical illusions to make it look 3D, just like this. There's definitely room for creativity. That's one reason I chose the cubes going off into space. You got very creative with your background, and also I want you to put something cool in each one of these boxes. What would you like to put into there? What would I like to put there? What would express my personality? What do I think would work best with this piece here? The sky is the limit. There's so many possibilities. Think about your color palette. Do I want to go maybe continuing with a black and white pattern? Do I want the same pattern in each box? Do I want to go with color, maybe different colors than the background? That's always a good idea, is to do something different that stands out or has contrast. You will lose the boxes if you were to do the same thing. Like for instance, if I continued this orange into there, it probably, I wouldn't do that. I mean, just saying. You do what you want to do, but I would choose something definitely different to stand out because they're coming at you. You could put words to let me know stuff about you, like your name, your favorite color, favorite sports team, music that you like, I don't know, symbols. You could do a peace sign, emoji face. Who doesn't love emojis, right? Hey, you can show your feelings for the day with that emoji. Oh, you could do different emojis in each one. You could put planets. You could put stars. You could get inspired by nature. Oh man, really anything. But art is like a self-portrait. Everything you make shows you. Not always literally, like it doesn't have to be your face, but it shows your personality. So get creative. I cannot wait to see what you make. I'll do another time-lapse video to show where I go with this piece, but thanks for all your hard work today and good job. What do you think? Yay! I'm really happy with it, and I hope you're happy with your art too. I'm sure you did a great job. I cannot wait to see your artwork. Don't forget to take a photo if you can and upload it to Google Classroom. The directions are in there, and I cannot wait to teach you more art this year. We're gonna have a great time, and I really appreciate you following along. Bye everyone.